Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, alongside my dog, who apparently is co-hosting today, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. I don't know why the dog's hanging out in the studio, but you're very welcome. Saturday Night Live has announced 5 new cast members for season 51. They are Ben Marshall, Tommy Brennan, Jeremy Culhane, Cam Patterson, and Veronica Slowakowski. Some interesting names there. Cam Patterson, you may know him from Kill Tony. People are going to get very upset about that. Veronica Slowakowski, you may not know the name, but you know the face if you watched Shane Gillis Tires Season 2. And Ben Marshall, you know him as one of the Please Don't Destroy guys. He has been upped to a feature player. Marshall's been with SNL as a writer since 2021. He was part of the Please Don't Destroy folks. We'll come around to that. Martin Herlihy from Please Don't Destroy will continue as a writer. John Higgins has announced he is leaving SNL. Again, we'll circle back to that. New cast member Tommy Brennan, a stand-up comic named a Just for Laughs new face of comedy in 2023. Cam Patterson, best known for Kill Tony. He's also in Kevin Hart's upcoming film 72 Hours. Slowakowski from Tires, Poker Face, What We Do in the Shadows. Jeremy Culhane from Upright Citizens Brigade. SNL is back on October 4th. That is, no surprisingly, a Saturday. The show will air at 11:30 p.m. John Higgins posted on Instagram, and my dog was not interested at all on what Higgins had to say because she just left the room. But Higgins said, "I can't believe how lucky I was to be part of the show. It was my dream, and I got to live it. And to do it with my 2 best friends and my dad was an unbelievable experience. Thank you to everyone who made my time there so special. Made this decision that much harder. But for now, I'm excited to pursue acting opportunities that I'll announce soon. But today, I'm just grateful for everything we got to do." It is unclear if Please Don't Destroy will continue to perform together when they're not on Saturday Night Live. They are currently on tour and have dates scheduled over the next 2 weeks. If you listen to yesterday's podcast, I shared my creative concerns about the Beck Bennett and Kyle Mooney podcast. The first guest is Mark Maron, and then I noticed the second guest is Fran Gillespie. Yeah, I don't know either. Exactly, that's what I'm worried about. Did they drop a 3rd episode yet? I don't think so. Let me check. They did drop a 3rd episode. The guest on the newest episode is Tim Baltz. Tim Baltz is an American comedian, actor, and writer. He appeared as a citizen journalist on the Comedy Central series The Opposition with Jordan Klepper. Also in The Righteous Gemstones. Okay, that's guest 3. Guest 2, the famous Fran Gillespie. I know you're throwing your phone against the wall right now going, how does he not know who Fran Gillespie is? Well, obviously, she's a writer and performer originally from Chicago, and her credits include SNL, Big Mouth, Killing It, and John Mulaney Presents Everybody's in L.A., writer on SNL. Okay, well, and Mark Maron. Those are your guesses, says the guy recording a podcast in his basement. What's the other charting today? I also can't remember what this thing is called. This has a bad title. What is this thing called again? What's Our Podcast? With Beck Bennett and Kyle Mooney. Down 17 spots today. It is the 127th biggest podcast on Apple Podcast charts, and it is number 17 in the comedy category. Again, not too bad at all. Good news for Scrubs. Carla's coming back. Judy Reyes will appear as a special recurring guest star as Carla. Scrubs has a series order. Zach Braff, Donald Faison, Sarah Chalk, all back as JD, Turk, and Elliot. New Scrubs will follow JD and Turk, who scrubbed together for the first time in a long time. Medicine has changed, interns have changed, but their bromance has stood the test of time. Characters new and old navigate the waters of Sacred Heart with laughter, heart, and some surprises along the way. Again, I'm curious what they'll do for a set. Will they use the sets from Scrubs Season 9 when it was the different hospital? Because the other hospital doesn't exist anymore. Or they could recreate the old sets and just pretend Season 9 didn't happen. We'll see. The Paper, which debuts tonight. Binge. Did you watch all 10 episodes yet? Why not? The internet's going to spoil them for you. Why didn't you get up at 3 in the morning and watch 10 episodes of a sitcom before the AV Club tells you, hey, here's what happens. Here's why that character dies in episode 8. I made that up. Johnny Mac's from the 20th century. Johnny Mac doesn't like the binge. You get no water cooler when you do the binge. Anyway, The Paper has been renewed for a 2nd season. All 10 episodes out today. I'll be watching football. Minor-ish spoiler for the show. It won't ruin it for you, but in case you're curious, how did the in-show documentarians wind up in Toledo? We learned that Dunder Mifflin was bought by an Ohio-based company called Enervate. Enervate sells products made out of paper. And because of that, they came to own newspaper The Truth Teller. Innervate also sells toilet tissue. Anyway, I'll watch, and I will tell you tomorrow on Comedy Stock Market. Remember last week we loaded up on the paper stock? I will tell you tomorrow. Are we going to buy more? Or are we going to sell? That's tomorrow's episode. Fred Armisen was asked by The Observer, "Hey, Fred Armisen, what did you make of Stephen Colbert's show being canceled by CBS?" Fred said, "It's very sad. All I know is that Stephen Colbert is beloved and brilliant. He'll do something else great. I don't worry about the future of satire on TV because comedy always wins. That's the magic of it." Speaking of late night, the worst person who ever lived, possibly, Jay Leno. Yeah, that guy. Listen to this. 13 years ago, Taylor Swift credited Jay Leno, of all people, with offering her some of the most memorable relationship advice of her life. Yeah, if you go back and you read a 2012 episode of Cosmopolitan magazine, Taylor Swift, then 23 years old, took the Cosmo quiz. She was asked, "What's the best relationship advice you ever got?" Taylor Swift said, "Jay Leno told me, it's easy, just marry your conscience. Marry the one who makes you want to be a better person." Boy, Jay Leno is he's the worst. Big day for Ohio. Not only the paper, but the Columbus Comedy Festival is back. 100-plus comedians, 4 days of events. Artists include, I won't read them all, Jeremiah Watkins, Second City, Sam Talent, James Adomian, Chad the Bird, and many, many more. Some of the shows: Female AF, an all-woman lineup of stand-up comedians from New York City, LA, and Columbus. Live Rec is locals doing their best 10-minute sets. Those are published on YouTube and social media afterwards. And also in Columbus, Ohio, the Chicago Showcase, hosted by Chad the Bird. In the UK, Josh Jones kicks off a tour. He'll be touring the UK and Ireland. His new show is called I Haven't Won the Lottery, so Here's Another Tour Show. Josh says, "I've done award shows for plumbers, and I've gigged in a barn for farmers. I've had times when older straight blokes look disappointed that a camp gay has just walked on stage, and then by the end, they're crying laughing." Also in the UK, Grant Linehan. You may know him as the writer of Father Ted, a great series. If you've never seen it, seek that out on the internet. I don't know where you can watch it these days. Let me open up Just Watch. Maybe I can tell you. Do you know about Just Watch? Just Watch is great. It'll tell you where things are streaming or not. Father Ted not streaming right now. That stinks. Anyway, Graham also created the It Crowd. He said he was intercepted by 5 armed officers after flying into the UK from Arizona and told he was under arrest. On Substack, Graham said he was taken to a cell and questioned over some posts he published on Twitter back in April. The post related to him challenging a, quote, trans-identified male, unquote, in a, quote, female-only space, unquote. He was released on bail. The Metropolitan Police did not identify him, but a spokesperson said on Monday, 1 September at 1 p.m., officers arrested a man at Heathrow Airport after he arrived on an inbound American Airlines flight. The man in his 50s was arrested on suspicion of inciting violence. This is in relation to posts on X. So, my fellow Americans, enjoy your free speech. Yikes. And did you see this one? Comedian Druski has upset some people. He did a NASCAR skit. Druski showed up at the Southern 500 NASCAR race in whiteface and played a character dubbed White Druski. The character has what appears to be full body makeup, really well done, a mullet and a beard, dressed in overalls and a cowboy hat. Some fans said the skit is harmless and hilarious. Others say it was a satire of a specific subculture. Others said it was punching up at a stereotype. Others yet condemned the use of whiteface as insensitive and hypocritical, drawing parallels to the historical use of blackface. Those people argue that regardless of intent, the act of whiteface promotes harmful stereotypes. I watched a clip. I was not offended. I also didn't find it particularly funny. In a similar vein, 40-something years ago, Eddie Murphy did a sketch where he dressed up as a white guy and went to the bank and had some laughs about how they didn't have to check his credit or whatever the joke was. I found that very funny, but also I was 13. I think it's still funny. Haven't watched it in a minute. So for what it's worth, I'm not offended by Druski's sketch. I am impressed by his makeup, and that is your comedy news for today. See you tomorrow.